March has arrived. We're having actually excellent weather right now, and I think the birds love it too. We have, of course, we always start with some announcements and some business, and then we see some sightings, and then we'll have our speaker tonight, Ken Sobon, who is the Altacal President. We have a lot going on. We want to make sure the people that are in house do fill out a raffle card and put it in the basket. We have some a prize after tonight's talk. So then you have to be present to win. You have to be early. So anyway, so I'll just go ahead and start a few things. We had Deb Captain here last month doing a talk about our habitat, neighborhood habitat certified program. And she's also working garden tour that's April 20th, Saturday. You should probably start seeing a lot of advertising, a lot of good, you know, people are going to go, and there's a lot going on. And I have a spokesperson here. Would you like to talk about it?
Well, I don't know what I would say, but just, you know, it's a wonderful opportunity to speak. Yeah, the garden tour is just a wonderful way to see how we use native plants and encourage birds in our yards and create biodiversity. It's really important. So I think yes, and you can sign up for volunteers by contacting Deb Halfpenny at through AltaCal through California.
It's on our website.
Perfect.
On the newsletter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, I bet everybody is really starting to think a lot about our garden. Let's see, a couple of other things. We asked the people on Zoom to please mute, but if they didn't want to make comments or ask a question, put it in the chat room. And let's see. So I think right now what I'll do is ask Karen Smith to come up. She'll talk about the upcoming field trips. And so we have a lot going on. It's springtime. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a couple of field trips. We've got a couple of field trips for March still. Awaiting this, however, for the Red Bluff recreation area this Thursday. It's going to be a great trip. Sometimes people cancel, so you know, go ahead and register and get yourself on the radio if you want to go. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, is a field trip to the Chico Seed Orchard. That's a good one, led by Joyce Bond. And then in April, we've got some really great field trips coming up. We've got a new trip to the Compay Zero Trail, and it's in Anderson. I haven't even seen it yet. We're going to scout it in April 1st, but that's going to be a really fun trip. Right now, all the birds are pairing up, they're nesting. We were out at Pine Creek Unit this past Saturday, and we saw tree swallows fighting for territory and fighting the titmouse for the cavities. And so it's really fun to go out birding right now. So in April, also we have Blackview Lake coming up. And we'll be doing our annual trip to the Clairville Winery. And they give us special permission once a year to bird their property. And we had a waiting list of like 10 people last year. So if you want to go on that trip and sign up early, a lot of our trips are limited, so please register early. I posted all the trips for April and May on the calendar, altacal.org, so you can find out all about our trips there and in our newsletter. And I post on Facebook too. All right, we'll see you out there.
Thank you, Karen. So right now we have a President Ken Sobon. That little someone else there, but we're we are speaker too.
Well, welcome. As Jennifer mentioned, I am the president of the Audubon AltaCal. So if someone wants to take my job, we're always looking for new board members. We definitely have a meeting for board members. So if you'd like to join us in the board, we actually have a good time. You know, it's a good, healthy atmosphere, and usually bring some snacks. And so if you're interested in participating more with the board, we'd love to have you. We do have a couple openings. A couple of things. I forget what the is conservation and lands and sanctuaries. We do have. And if you just want to be on the board and be a at large with no new job, if you join the decisions, you're also welcome to do this. A lot of changes in Altacal. And this is probably the biggest one right now. I want to introduce Jared to everybody. This is Jared. He's our new executive director. Mary has been a terrific executive director and leader, and very, very happy with what she's done, what she's done for Altacal and Audubon as a whole. And we're sorry to see her go, but she ended up getting a full-time position for service with benefits and retirement, and so it's really good, really excited. So I'm going to hand the mic to Jerry, and then I'll come back and talk. All right, so yeah, I get to meet you all, the new ones. See a lot of familiar faces here, though. Yeah, so just briefly, I wanted to share a message that March is Altacal membership renewal month. So I expect to get one of these in the mail here pretty soon. In the next couple of weeks, we're hoping to get them out. We'll also have some at that first counter next to the raffle basket too. If you'd like to sign up for a new membership tonight, we encourage you to do so, or wait for it to come here and on. But yeah, we do a lot of important work with Altacal, conservation work, education work, and we need funding to do it. So yeah, please continue to support Altacal for your membership and for your volunteering and participation in our volunteering programs. And yeah, we got a great first year tonight. We got everything going on. We have Ken Sobon talking about the 488 bird species he saw in Ecuador in this 10 days. So pretty cool, yeah. All right, Ken, you ready to come on up? Yeah. So if you saw my bio, it says I'm a middle school teacher, and I taught in Oroville for 30 years, and I'm starting my 31st year, and enjoy teaching and enjoy teaching science. So it, gosh, I grew up watching David Attenborough, watching Mutual Omaha, Wild Kingdom. That's my first. Just remember, you know, jumping off the helicopter, hanging from the helicopter, Mutual Omaha. I forget it was his son's name once. Anyway, and you know, fighting the bear with a rope. You know, he had a grizzly bear he lassoed a grizzly bear, and he wouldn't do that now. And then later, David Attenborough in nature, and the Amazon jungle always of mine to visit. So this was a dream come true, and just thrilled to share my experience with you. So yes, it was a 9-day tour through Rock Jumper Tours. I've taken 2 tours with them. I just came back. I was just in Puerto Rico in February, which was we're displaying a shirt there. Yeah, stand up and model. There's the Rock Jumper Tour.
You too can have one meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a tour in Puerto Rico, and I could go find birds myself, but you know, you pay a little bit more, but they get you on the birds. And so sometimes those tours are worth it. Our tour guide was even surprised with the number that we got. On the Puerto Rico tour, there was someone on my tour that actually went to the same trip, but he went in fall. So September, October, and he didn't do it. So and you went a couple years ago. Yeah, and you didn't get the numbers either. But this is Sumaco mountain, and you know, usually it's not this. You can't see it as clear because it is the rainforest, and we just had great weather. A couple of days in the cloud forest was drizzly, but really great weather. So the trip began in Quito, Ecuador.
And the airport, the Quito airport is over here. It used to be in the main valley, but it was such a tight and coming in and take off. So they ended up moving the airport. Quito is the second highest capital city in the world, and elevation of 9,350 feet, population 2 million, and founded in 1534. So not long after 1492. So first thing I did is I took a private tour with a tour guide of the sites of Quito. So I took a tram up to the top of the mountain to get a great view, 14,000 feet up. So from 9 to 14,000 feet. And up there, tremendous view. This is the process of going up. Tremendous view up there. This is Quito. This is where my airport's down there, and that's where my hotel was, just kind of right in the rim there. Me standing there, out of breath, because just a short walk up 20 stairs, you're just like. So there's an Instagram thing for taking a photo over the cliff of. It looks a lot scarier than it is. So you can kind of see it. It's a little dirt there. If I were to jump, I might take a few steps, but I wouldn't go over. Just doing that in the low oxygen, I felt very dizzy, and it was really quite amazing. So I really did feel the altitude, especially on that swing, and we took care of that later. You'll see. So there was indigenous people having a little refreshment hut, and there's the special drinks for altitude, and coca tea that helped a little bit. And then this drink is called chicha moranga, and they drink it on Dios de Muerto, so the Day of the Dead. And it's purple corn, fresh purple corn, and they always have fresh corn because it's on the equator. 365 days a year growing season. So they plant corn, they harvest it, they plant some more. So they always have fresh purple corn mixed with fruit juice and pineapple. It was quite delicious. And they believed that this represents their family and that the red represents the blood. And you're just drinking your family in and thinking about them and kind of taking them into you. So did you feel better with the coffee? I did a little bit, a little clearer. A little euphoric, but not really much. But it didn't help me think a little clearer. It was a little foggy. So then we're back down in the am I in your way here? We're back down in the city square, the Capitol building. We went into this building right here, and they had a chocolate tasting. So these are cacao beans, and I brought a cacao pod. So chocolate cacao. This company, Yumbo, if I pass this around now. This is all in the computer. Coming through a teacher, I saw about this company selects. I've done this before. This company selects only the biggest pod, the biggest seeds, and they're not bitter. So the chocolate drink is sweet. The big cocoa beans have a very low, thin, sweet flavor. The shriveled ones, they sell the person. And they use the big ones for and it's just amazing, delicious chocolate. And there's little bits of chocolate you could taste too, but so that was a fun experience. Traditional Spanish architecture. We're a city block with buildings around the outside and then the courtyard in the center. So this courtyard, it looks like there's a roof. But when I showed this, there's a Disney movie. My students, when they saw this, were like, Encanto. So there's a Disney movie. Encanto that had irrigated from a balcony like that. More streets, the cobblestones. Roses. Most of the world's roses, at least North and South America, cut roses grow in Ecuador and Quito. And so if you go to the florist, they're imported from Ecuador because they have a 365-day year growing season. So like roses here will grow in the spring, and in the summer they start to slow down. But because they have 12 hours of light, 12 hours of dark, roses do very well. So most of the cut flowers come from Ecuador. And the streets are lined with crosses to all kinds of little things that they've put up. No special festival. This is a monastery. You can see the monk here, another monk. View of the monastery, and this was one of the first buildings built. And this is inside the church. And you can see all the work. You can even see the art. This was all done by indigenous slaves. And they trained the slaves. I guess they gave the choice. They had artistic ability. You can work in the field or you can do art. And they sold the art to Europe. They sold the art to most of Europe. That was really, and they also decorated their churches. So just the amazing work. And even the art, I mean, some of this picture you can't really see here, but you know, European masters style quality. And they're not even named. So there's no name of the artist on them. Now, here's me standing on the equator. I have a foot in North America and a foot in South America. And the red line down the center. Now, is this the equator? According to GPS, but I'm sure it's not 100% perfect. But we got our sun god here. But, you know, they had a little kitschy thing where they made a water spin, you know, one way north and they took the tub over. Which is, it's magic. I mean, it's not real. You know, 5 feet would not cause the water to spin. The way that they put the leaf on the little tub. Yeah, I didn't like it. Okay, so our first stop. So actually, I left a slide out, but that's okay. We went up to the top, so up to 14,000 feet now. So we left Quito, and as the group, we went up to 14,000 something feet over the pass of the Andes. And now we're going to go down into the Andes. And San Ysidro is the first one. I think it's 7,000 or 8,000 feet in elevation. Beautiful lodge. The deck is amazing. The hummingbird feeders and quite comfortable accommodations. So here is the path that we took from Quito, and this is our path of different stops. It's just some of the plants. I'm always amazed by just the plants, and you'll see, like, I'd be happy to go in my house. So, you know, being in the jungle, there's low light, and house plants grow good in low light. So they're down on the floor where very little light can come through. And that's why jungle plants are good house plants. So some of the birds. So white-bellied antpitta. This was a rare bird, and they actually did feed it. There's some eggshells and there's some worms on there, so they have it kind of acclimated to that. And Mastrogon, that was just right from the deck. Paul Fenwick, one of the guys on the trip I'll show you, did a lot of most of the good pictures are Paul's. And he gave me permission to share, but I do try to quote or cite his work here. My first toucan, yellow-throated toucan, and that was right from the deck. Very visible. Purple honey creeper. I mean, look at, that's a sexy bird. I mean, look at the color contrast between the feet and the feathers, the chest. You know, the little female bird sees that bird and says, yeah, I like that. And being a honey creeper, right? It's for, you know, drink flowers, right?
How big is it?
That's a little bigger than finch, but much bigger than like a hummingbird. Yeah. Hummingbirds. I did get a count of the hummingbirds, but 30, 40 different species of hummingbirds at least. The spangled coquette, that was rare. Where we had that one. They were really thrilled. That's a Brazilian. We had a couple of like Brazilian birds. And remember, Brazil is like South America. It's way down there. Long-tailed cent. That tail was this long.
Wow.
Yeah. Seeing it fly and the tail just kind of flop over and just amazing. Peewee. You know, we have our peewees here, but look at that smoke colored peewee. And that is the San Ysidro owl. And so there is a black-banded owl much lower. This is 8,000 feet, 8,000 feet in the cosmos. And there's a black-banded owl that's lower, that's much paler. It's not as dark. So there's a group of owls around San Ysidro that are dark like this. So they look very much like the lower elevation. So they think that they'll possibly split this out into different species. And I mean, there's the deck, and at night it was just perched there. And they did mouse and either, give it mice, you know, it was. Spotted owl size, you know, spotted owl, yeah. Now, walking through the forest, I don't know if the volume was on, but, so. Sorry. That's okay, you can't really hear it. Oh. I wish I would have heard the word policy. You're ready, and then. So, yeah, this was just a few days that we're missing. So this is the cloud forest. It is perfect. I mean, almost always like this, very cloudy and quite wet. Okay. Greenback trogon. I think I have 9 species of trogons from the trip. You're welcome to come on in if you'd like to get another chair. Rose-crested finch. This was pretty hard to find, and this is the best picture, and it's pretty obscured by it. And so it's a regular finch size, but I just love the colors. Okay, so at San Ysidro, they put up a sheet, and then they have spotlights on the back side, so it collects a lot of moths at night. And then in the morning, the whole area is loaded with birds. As the video. Or a pendulum?
There's one standing out the population right here.
So there is a wand up there.
The sickle-winged
A
one.
sickle-winged wand up there. I didn't really get a good look at it, but you can hear the guys talking. So those sheets were one of my favorite things because the birds that came. This is the green jay in Texas, but they call it Inca jay in South America. So they might split it. I wish I had a better picture, but I love that little flycatcher. That's my favorite. My favorite flycatcher, the cinnamon flycatcher. And that's just from, right on the deck. Black and Goody, we had quite a few mammals. And Goody's a little rodent about this big. Oops, I just did something. Okay, so after here, now we started to drive down to Sumaco, so wild Sumaco. And you can see the clouds, and it's just stunning, gorgeous. And right up here, you can't see it, but there's a torrent duck perched on the rock. I don't have a good picture of a torrent duck. You might have to look it up. But torrent ducks are kind of like our dippers here, but they're much bigger. And that our dippers will actually swim in the water. Torrent ducks only use their feet and their bodies. And what they do is they sail like a sailboat. A sailboat can go upwind, right? So, and they use that basically as the wind goes around the sail, it pushes the sail forward. And that's what happens with the torrent duck. The torrent ducks will use their feet, but they use their body as the water rushes over and pushes them forward. So they use their body in changing the positions and get arthropods and little crustaceans, little creatures in the water. It was distant, so the pictures were really small, but we were real happy to get that one. Now wild Sumaco. And great place. We had tamarind, black mantle tamarind, and they've got some plantains for the tamarind to eat. By the way, I have plantain chips out there almost every meal. No, every meal. We've got some form of plantains. And I really learned to love them. So I've got a sweet plantain chip and a tostones, which is a salty one. Be sure, and I've got more bags, so after, be sure you try the plantain chips. So tamarinds, and now some of the hummers. So there's the Gould's jewel front, and then the Peruvian ragged-tail. Look at that rachis, that tail, the quill, and then just a little dollop of flat feather at the back. I've got a video you'll be able to see in a second. But that's a Peruvian ragged-tail. So I keep on saying one of my favorites. I think they're all my favorite. But this one here is called the wire-crested thorntail. We'll see a fork-tailed wood nymph come in, and he's got very colorful. And then you'll see the tail kind of splits like a fork, and then the golden-tailed sapphire come in. And this is the Gould's jewel front. So there's the fork-tailed wood nymph. And that's the gold-tailed sapphire. That's a female thorntail. And then there is the fork-tailed wood nymph. Those are big hummers.
Yeah.
Big hummers. So this guy looks, so I mean the name, wire crested
Right.
thorntail, you know? And I've got a picture of just one of those in a second. But you can see the gold-tailed sapphire there. Another little video clip. There's the female wire crested thorntail. There's the male. Look at the racket tail. I could just sit on the bench here and just watch the hummers all day. I mean, and there was 10 hummingbird feeders all the way around. Now, just above the lodge, there's a puffbird. So it's a black streak puffbird, black streak. And this is cloud forest, right? So this is what it looked like. This should be maybe San Isidro rather than Sumaco. I think that's what it was. But you can see why they're called puffbirds. Oh. So puffers go, geez, I think 40 species of puffbirds. That's an earthworm.
Oh my gosh.
My foot is size 12. So that's a 3, I touched it and it shrunk a little bit. That's a 3-foot long earthworm. And I didn't mention. So this is a soccer field. So rather than grass, it's kind of like gravel. This earthworm was dead. It basically came, it wasn't dead, but it would be dead. It would survive. So I put it back in the grass. But it came out of the jungle here onto the field, probably dry up or something. But at that size, you couldn't really bore through very deep, hard ground. You could go through the foot of dust and leaf litter and move around and, you know, break down weeds and make soil. But it had hairs like a regular earthworm. If you've ever felt an earthworm, they've got little hairs on them to keep the robin from pulling the whole thing out. And so they break, but he had little hairs on him. And once I touched him, then the other group was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, I was the science teacher. I'm like, I want to do everything. I want to try it all. From the cockatoo to the earthworm to you'll see more. Now, we had a two-toed sloth. So we were not expecting him. We were coming back after seeing, finding a bird, and I'll show you a video of him in a second, Jack and Laura. And just above the van, just up in the, you know, up on in the trees, so like there's a sloth, and you know, everyone missed it, and we just happened to see it, and he was just chilling, just hanging out, and it looked pretty clean. So what sloths you see, there are lots of green and gross. Didn't have any flies on them. Looks like you can almost pet him. You know, look at the little nose. It's like a little tube. But I mean, houseplants, right? Yeah, and so I was trying to think of some houseplants. I couldn't think of any. Last insects. I think I found 10 different cockroaches. These are my favorite in color. And then a lacewing butterfly. Look, you can see through the wings. And these are all at Sumaco. Anyone know what this is without looking? So the cordyceps fungus. Now, this evolutionary is just an amazing story because there was a fungus spore that once infected a larva. And the caterpillar died and hit on their leaf, and it basically, you know, was able to spread the spores a few inches. Then maybe one of those spores on another caterpillar, a different spore, adapted to basically allow the caterpillar to live a little longer, and it crawled a little bit higher up the branch. And then the next generation, a little higher, next generation. And now the cordyceps is a fungus that's the zombie fungus. And what it does to insects, it does it to caterpillars, it does it to ants. It'll zombify the insect, and just after that point, the insect crawls to the highest point and dies. And then the fungus fruits and spreads through spores. 100 feet rather than 6 inches. So I teach evolution in my class, and it's just a great way to see how, I mean, this is related to the button mushrooms that you get in your salad, you know, but how this is adapted to zombify insects. And this cordyceps is popular. There's a video game and a show on HBO that has cordyceps zombies, but it's actually making people zombies. It only makes insects zombies. A couple birds here. The Ani, smooth-billed, and it looks like a velociraptor, right? And Jacobin, the tail it's a little in the way, but that's okay. You don't need it. You don't need it. So here's the purple jacamar. Right after we saw this jacamar, we were going back, and then we saw this sloth. So jacamars are a little bit bigger, about this big. They're kind of shaped like people think, oh, zombie, you know, not really. I mean, they're quite different. But and then here's the wire-crested thorntail. Nice little video. Look at that thorntail and the little wire crest. And this is in the rain. That's the meal. That's
You know, in prayer, we basically look at this.
now the North American birds come through. They open the breeding season, but the birds that are endemic to the area, they really, I mean, not all, not 100%, but generally, yeah. That's the meal. That's his. Okay, so talking about evolution, right? So this is a walking stick. Remove all the black and put the red together. Looks like a fire ant.
Wow.
So it evolved to mimic a fire ant, and walking sticks aren't poisonous. It would be tasty, but no birds can eat that. And I guess birds subtract that the black or the red, you know, tells them not to eat it, right? And then if you're a large mammal, maybe an insect can climb up this, but if you're a large mammal, you're not climbing up this tree, and this tree is about this.
What's that?
Is that natural or something that?
That's the natural tree trunk. Yeah. Yeah, natural tree trunk. Yeah. Yeah, that's the trunk of a tree.
Is this pumpkins or?
No, those are growths, little thorns on the tree trunk. Big thorns. Yeah, because that tree was about this big. The thorn, you know, that's a little bit bigger than life size. A little bit bigger. Oh, or mannequins. Mannequins are lovely birds. Lovely. Generally, they don't have a tail. And they're little stumpy birds. I need a tail. They're little stumpy birds, and they spend most of their time just on the ground. They don't need a big tail. They're moving here and moving there. And so there's the golden mantle mannequin. We spent a long time to find that one. Hog got an amazing shot. And then the wire tail. 3 little wires.
That's his tail.
That's his tail. So 3 little sexy wires if you're a female. Chestnut bellied gnat eater, stunning bird, and black-faced ant bird. These are, I didn't credit Paul, but these are Paul's also. So after Guasamaco, we went down into the Amazon. So this is the Rio now. We didn't go on the Amazon River, but this is one of the main tributaries. So this is in the city of Coca. And we get on one of these boats, and then we take a 2.5-hour boat ride down river. So this camp or this lodge is out in the middle of nowhere. When we were going, the guy was saying, yes, there's an unreached tribe about 5 miles this way. There's another tribe here that is barely reached. So we're going down this main river, and he's pointing things out. So here's a little video.
What's that? Suspension bridge. Is that just the foot?
No, that was a car bridge. Yeah. Yeah, that's a car bridge.
Small place.
Yeah. So you can see, I mean, it's a big boat. We're traveling 38 miles an hour. I think that's what my GPS said on my phone. So this is our guide. That's Tucson. And we're going to Sandy Lodge. And Spoonbill is their mascot, I guess. We only saw 2. So there's a lot less spoonbills there now. Okay, so cocoa, cacao. I'll pass this around here. But this is the flower. So once we got to where the camp was, we got off the boat and we went into a cocoa plantation and standing in the tall grass, I did not know anything about chiggers. I learned. Yeah, 6 weeks of whelps and itching, just staying in the grass, in the socks. And luckily they stayed below my knees, but I've heard of them going places that you don't want to talk about. Yeah, so there's a chocolate cocoa plantation and we saw a coffee plantation I didn't see. So now we transfer into a smaller boat. And I think there's 10 of us, a guide in front and a guide in back, indigenous guide. And that's Paul, who put all the really good pictures. And that's one of our local indigenous guys. He just amazing. He's got picking out these birds here, there, there. And then we're the guide's pointing birds out and just look at the trees. And this isn't a trunk, this is a root that goes into the mud. So they get these branches and they go into the mud and help it stabilize. And there's a little video. The video's a little jerky. Look at their paddle too. Isn't that beautiful? Nice wooden paddle. But you'll see the video's a little jerky, but you can really see. And it jerks here. Sorry about that. I told you. Now, but look at that root. And that stabilizes this big, massive tree. So this massive tree has all these roots around it, like candles that stabilize it. So as you see, we're in the water, and let me go back here. 60% of our time at Sandy Lodge was in a boat, traveling through the flooded forest. There was 2 trails, I think, that we hiked, but most of our time was in a boat, and getting the birds and from boat in the flooded forest. Okay, so here's the Sandy Lodge, and the green. That's I forgot the caiman things. A black caiman, 12 feet long, which is large for a caiman. 8 to 10 feet is a normal caiman. And he was ready to bite someone here. But here's Sandy Lodge. There were people at the lodge that weren't birders. A family, mother and father and 2 kids. And when we got there, they were fishing for piranha. And they took the piranhas and the chefs cooked them up for them. And the cooks. Now in birds, one of my target birds, one of the birds that I felt was most important was this bird here on the left. It's called a Watson. It looks like it. Is it glare pad or?
They can't see you on the screen.
Oh, on the screen. They don't need to see me. Is it better for you? I think it's worse for you guys to see. Yeah, it's worse. Yeah, it's worse for them. So it's pronounced Watson, but it's a Watson. And this is an evolutionary marvel because this bird is like a dinosaur. He has claws on its wings for holding on the branches. And when birds branch, it was one of the first birds to ever branch. And he's in his own family all by himself. He's a ruminant, like a cow. Wow. The only bird he leaves. He's got claws on his wings. He's got multiple stomachs, and he'll burp up and regurgitate and digest and ferment. And because the fermenting leaves, they call them skunk turkeys. They're stinky. I didn't smell it. I wish it would have. And this is the Watson. And we saw a couple of them, so that was really neat. This is a rufescent tiger heron, not just a tiger heron. The rufous color. The view from my little deck here. I was going to put more pictures in there, but the camp is off the grid, but they do have some solar panels, so enough to run a fan. It was the hottest I've ever been. I grown up in California, and so you get out of the shower and you feel great. You get out of the shower and you start sweating again. So if you ever lived in the East, right? Got in the shower. They took the mosquito net down. Got at night, so I got a shower, climbed in the mosquito net and turned the fan on, and just slept under the fan on, and just completely dehydrated. But it was really hot, but worth it. And then look at the black palm, the thorns on it. Okay, the canopy tower. So this tower is 118 feet, 200 and something steps. And it is on a tree, the highest tree in the jungle. So it's a tree that's much higher. And in the canopy, we get a lot of different birds. We can only see, the birds that are in the middle and the lower understory. But there's a whole bunch of different birds up in the canopy. So we hiked up to the top of the canopy, and it says 565. Well, before we came, there was 564 birds just in this one spot. That's like all of California. The whole California list is like that. Just in this one tower, 565 species. And there was 564, and we found one new one for there. So watch the video. Wow. You hear the sound of the jungle? Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Just going to sleep to that. I loved it. I loved it. So there's the tower and this massive, beautiful tree. There's a nest, a termite nest up there, but then all the vines going up. You'll see what it looks like on top. But this is the view up there. White-throated toucan, and the view, just amazing. You can see that it's above all the other trees. We've got this one palm, but we're 50 feet, 100 feet above all the other trees. So the birds that are flying over stop in our tree. So that's the platform with the bromeliads right next to us here. On this tree right here, right where he has his hand, just above it, there was a bullet ant. If you've ever heard of bullet ant, I couldn't find my picture, but a bullet ants are about this big. And supposedly if you get stung by them, it feels like it was shot by a bullet. It's the poison is that strong. And it's a big solitary ant. And then I killed it. I probably shouldn't. I should have just knocked it off. But I think I tried to knock it off to get it away, and then it grabbed onto my boot. And it wouldn't let go of my boot, and I didn't want it crawling my pants, so I kind of had to do this to get it off. So, okay, some of the birds up there. So many-banded arsari, very close from me to you, this close, and you'll see a big row of that. Cream-colored woodpeckers, it's a really neat woodpecker. And then the putu. The putu was as high as these raptors, 5 feet up, 10 feet up, and 8 feet, let's just say 8 feet up. So not very high, and that's a great putu. And he's in the goat sucker family, so it's not an owl, but kind of related to our like nighthawks and family.
What do they saw?
Yeah. Yeah, big open mouth. Yeah. So they fly with their mouth open and just scoop up even small migrating birds. So, yeah. So we can see there's the sorry, you can see there's some fruit that he was eating. And then there's Paul. I'll take a picture. It's a perfect shot. Look how close he is. Not very good camera work, sorry. And now some, did I skip one more? And then Dacnus, right? Just amazing. Black-faced Dacnus. Opal rump tanager. That's not opal rump tanager. Those pictures are off. Huh. Yeah. See, there's the golden colored toucanet and the lemon-throated barbets. Some your vibration are low. Hold in the PC. Yeah, so this the lemon-throated barbet is here. So for some reason we lost the two really pretty birds. Maybe at the end I'll see if I can quit it and start over. You got it? Yeah. Oh wow. All the pictures. See, there's the opal rump tanager and the Dacnus. Something happened. Got it corrupted. I'm gonna try and find a different file or double screen. We'll wing it. Okay. Yeah, it's all stretched out, isn't it?
Is the crest bell that's for the big right over?
You saw the one owl? Yeah. So there you go. These are good. So collared plover and pied plover. and southern lapwing, we got that, so these are good. Scarlet crown barbet, yes, king vulture, we had those. And food. So we went to a native indigenous and village and then a food force. So we can see here, this is tilapia. They have little tilapia ponds, like every village has a pond smaller than this room. And they put all their food scraps in the pond for food for the tilapia, and probably manure from the livestock. Because tilapia are like that. And the tilapia is delicious. And it was cooked in a banana leaf over the fire. We can see the roasted plantains and bugs. So those are called chontacuro. And so they're a palm larva from a palm weevil, not a weevil, but a larva. And the cooked ones, other than the head tastes like a rock, but the cooked one tastes like, a little bit like pork chop without any seasoning. This has a face pork flavor. Now, I wanted to try everything. I wanted to do it. So I'm like, I gotta eat this. So I did try them. Well, I think maybe one or two other people in the group tried it.
It's a bug.
It's a larva. You'll see what it is in a second. Look at the next one. Okay, so there's the larva. Can you select this video, the first one? Yeah, click on it.
I'll let him bite you. Oh, I just followed you with a barbecue. Ken, are you sure? Are you sure?
Look at my hands.
Are you going to do it?
Now, are they clean? Are they like?
Look how you're saying.
No, there, you drink the beer. This, no pasa nada si come, no. No es peligroso.
Can you bite that off?
Pero tienes que morder la cabecita y no morder en tu labio.
Don't eat the head.
No, you need to bite the head off because otherwise it can bite you.
Okay.
Así, y ahora se come.
Ahora sí.
And then the
Now,
guts.
yes, the whole thing.
Eso es que ves la grasa,
Original.
eso es muy importante porque es medicina.
Oh, no, you need to eat that. She says, se come este grasa. Oh, oi, oi, oi.
This video, did you hear that? So she said you need to eat the guts because that's the medicine. That's where the medicine is. Supposedly it's good for your eyes and good for cellular things. She talks about how it's good for you. I was the only birder and all the rock jumpers were that actually ate alive. They have people that come that will eat live ones that'll try them. But I end up washing it down. You'll hear someone say, I'll drink the beer. There's a taro root that's very starchy. And they make taro root beer. But taro root's too starchy. You cannot ferment starch. You have to ferment sugar. So they chew it and they spit it into a bucket. And then the sugar is converted and then they can ferment it. So I drank the beer. I had to do it all. It was nasty. It didn't taste like spit or whatever, but it tasted like beer. I don't know what spit tastes like. Okay, so but I did try it. It wasn't great. The chontacuro, the larva, kind of tasted like dirt, some plants, probably poop, whatever that tastes like, in a balloon. Because the skin was so hard, I couldn't chew it. Okay, now click this video. This video has a better view.
Are you going to do it?
Now, are they clean? Are they like? Am I going to get salmonella?
Oh, you drink the beer. No pasa nada si come, no. No es peligroso.
Can you bite the head off?
Pero tienes que morder la cabecita, si no te va a morder en tu labio.
Don't eat the head.
No, you need to bite the head off because otherwise it can bite you.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Oh,
Así,
así.
now yes, the whole thing.
Entonces, eso de que ves la grasa
Yeah.
es importante porque es medicina.
Oh no, you need to eat that.
Oh.
Se come.
What?
It's really chewy.
Amazing.
You sound like
I'm at the gag.
you won't break down.
Who else?
Gracias.
Oh.
Not for them, it's a local delicacy. I mean, it would be like someone coming to my parents' house and we're Polish and Ukrainian, so, you know, they put on these, or what do you call them, pierogies. It's like, oh, I don't want to try to make nasty. A little dumpling. And that's what it was like, so I wanted to honor this. Yeah, it was a lie. It was a lie. Okay, next slide.
Are you going to do it?
Yes, I think. Collard puff bird. Yes?
Pardon? Would they would take and they would hold the head and they slip it out.
Yeah.
But like you, I tried.
I've been thinking about it.
You chew that chitin forever.
Yeah.
And the outside skin, you sit there, they don't do that, they take their head and they. A lot of times squish it.
Oh, so they don't eat the rubber.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was like rubber. Did you try it when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. But that's what happens to me when I get to change my, kids' diapers. I'm like, oh. Yeah, anyway, so collared puff birds, you'll see why they're called puff birds. Hit the next. Oh, wow.
That's how big is it?
It's about this big.
Wow.
Yeah, and there were no other birds around, so it wasn't really displaying. There were no other puff birds. Okay, next slide. Thank you. Lots of animals. So Ecuadorian squirrel monkeys we saw, Andean white-eared possum, capuchin monkeys. Wow. Next slide. Howler monkeys, didn't see any, but we could hear them. If you've ever been to Panama, South America, Central America, and it sounded like thunder. They were so loud, or like a dinosaur in the distance. I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Did they wake you up?
No, yeah, we only heard them a couple times, and they were distant. But I've heard of, one of my students says, "Yeah, we were in Costa Rica, and there were howler monkeys, So, pygmy marmosets, this big. Oh, yeah, about that big. So that's much bigger than life size. And the guy took us to this little cavity, a little hole, a woodpecker hole, and said, "Okay, there's pygmy marmoset. We'll bring this head in." So they know where these animals are. Night monkeys, okay. Colombian night monkeys. Now, these are woolly monkeys. And these woolly monkeys tried to give me pink eye. They were throwing their poop at us. And I didn't want to go back to the States with pink eye. So luckily I had my umbrella. I put the umbrella up. And we were in a boat going right under their territory. And they weren't happy. This full short clip is of a mama and a baby on their back. I don't have the poop throwing theme here for them. I can show that later if you want, but look at the prehensile tail. So this troop of monkeys just kind of moving through the forest as we were paddling. Okay. No, we actually ended up going back and forth fishing, and we followed them a couple times. Okay, next. Now food. Plantains, as I mentioned, plantains with every meal. Yep, roasted plantains. Yep, plantains with cheese. Mashed plantains. Bacon wrapped filet or something like that. That was really nice. The food was so good. Oh, I love it. Okay, next slide. This was a pea mash, so it wasn't plantains. It was mashed like dried peas, I think. Tostone, and that's what we have back there, a smushed fried plantain, and they made little fritters with plantains and cassava, yucca. And then this was one of my favorite desserts, a meringue with fruit on top of it. They call it, what do they call it? I'll think of it in a second. It's a French dish, but they also, okay, next slide. Is that next one. And then we're done. We take this small little short, it's not a distorted image, but this is a short plane. We flew back from Coca back to keto, and it's, you can see the guys are, it's like 7437 inside, but it's the short bus for planes. And then there's the group. So Dusan he lives there. He's the main guy. She was from Australia. Their brother and sister, and that's their dad. They're from Florida, and they've got a good thick accent. She's from, he's from Chicago, and she is from Oregon. So all over. And that's it. So, any questions? Any questions? Questions or?
Yeah, I'll go check.
Yeah, so I one of those two of my favorite birds.
So I have one.
Uh-oh, very fine, good. Hopefully people are still there, but
I have a question.
yeah.
Okay, I was curious, the one that kind of looks like a toucan, I was trying to figure out.
Toucanette?
No,
Yes.
or the however you say it's the
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of look like, are they related or?
Yeah, they're like a medium toucan. So the toucanette's the small one and the big toucan, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're really neat. I thought they were, that's a toucan, no, it's not, sorry. And they're smaller than a toucan.
Okay.
So question in the chat. Oh, one in the room too.
Yes, the total number of birds in Ecuador are like what now? We're down to the total birds that are seen in Ecuador instead of languages.
Oh, just in the fact, I think the word's 1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
My
just
point
like-
is, it's the size of the data.
Yeah,
I think the one in the data, you see, the species. it's
Yeah.
about the birds.
yeah. It's just below Colombia. Colombia has a few more, but very, that's why in the description it says arguably the most. So I think Ecuador has a few, or Colombia has a few more. But question?
Yeah, another question. Is the yellow-throated toucan the same as the chestnut mandible in Central America?
I know.
They argued over that.
Oh, the split.
Some want to lump it and some want to split, so.
Yeah, that's about my pay grade.
Another one is, what is the philosophy of feeding the birds down there?
They do. I've got, limited, but they do. Like I've got a video, I couldn't do it all, of an indigenous guy. And it's on my computer where he's calling this ant here. And he's like, this most beautiful, subtle call. And then the bird comes. And then here's my guy playing with his JBL speaker, blasting the sound, and the bird's coming too. So it's like sometimes you can overdo it with too much fun. And he had this beautiful little whistle. The indigenous guy, they brought this ant feed out, and so they do feed it like red worms. They were feeding the birds ant feeds.
Nice. Don Garcia says, awesome, Ken, eating that larvae. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, you're going soon, so you better.
Yeah, but people saying thank you so much, Ken, for sharing your journey, your trip on birds. A lot of praise on the chat. Thanks, Ken.
Any other questions?
Yeah, right, so thank you, Ken. When we talk about next month, there's Joe Wilson talking about bumblebees.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's get a round of applause for Ken really quick.
Thank you tonight. We had quite the journey to see all these incredible species in Ecuador. So it is a destination for a lot of birders. So if you can put it on your life list, go. Thank you for all coming. We do have a raffle tonight. Thank you on Zoom. We'll see you next month. Next month we have Johnny Whittlesey. I guess we can call it our series of things that fly. It's not just birds. We're gonna have a nice talk about bumblebees. So Johnny Whittlesey, if you know, is the master gardener in native plants. And he has a lot of bumblebees at his property. So we'll look forward to next month. So thank you all for coming, and we'll do the raffle